What is going on, everybody? 2Bob29 is back. We are here in the lounge yet again. Make sure to kick back, make sure to relax, make sure to grab some snacks, because today I've got a new series for y'all. This is going to be back to basics. And I've had a lot of players of the game that have mentioned they would really like to see a lot of these things gone over and a lot of these things done. And hopefully I can make a series out of this. So we're going to kind of just go over a lot of the basic stuff in the game in this series. It's going to sound a little redundant for a lot of you out there that are, veteran players such as myself who have been playing this game for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, however long it's been at this point. And if that's the case and this video is not suited for you, then, I apologize. That's not the ideal outcome, is to make videos that people don't want to see. But I would really like to make videos that help out a lot of the player base. So I'm hopeful that a lot of this stuff is going to be beneficial for the newer players and the players that maybe have not only, been new to the game for a couple of months or even a year or two, but in an extent of trying to help gain an understanding of the game that we play today. So there's going to be some very, very bare bones basic stuff that I go through here with y'all today. So I'm just going to go to one of the nodes, actually the very first node, because I know it doesn't have any requirements here. So what I'm going to kind of run through really quickly here is, just a general aspect of the game. So you obviously have your class of your character. In this case, yellow class we all know is Showboat. You'll see at the moment in time of this recording, 6-star gold is our highest rarity. That is why you'll see it says superstars at max power. There is nowhere to level up this character anymore, whether it's coins or star fills, just for a visual representation. What it will look like if you do need to level up. Let's see, probably my Batista. Oh no, my Batista has max out levels, but you'll see this is a star fill section. You can go and pick and choose how many stars it is that you need to fill in. Probably Goat Ali, I think, on my account would be a good one. Let's see, Ali. I will go over a lot of this with you. Oh, he's in the lineup, that's why. You know what, that's fine. We have a boss going on, so that's the little reason for that little mess up. But you'll notice, there's coins. We have a level slider, wonderful level slider nowadays that you can pick and choose per level, or you can just simply max out all the levels needed. You can dump coins into characters. Your star fills, if you want to do one star fill at a time or all your star fills at once, you can pick and choose how many stars you want to fill on the character. Typically, it pays to save a star fill each time, so you could star fill them to 5 full and then 6 full. That'll count for 2 different 6-star fuse ups for your faction-based events and points. But you know what, we can stick with Ali is fine for now. You have your moves. To remember which moves unlock in which order, you can click down here on the poster itself. It'll show you your stats, your moves, the trainer, the links, and the gear. These are all very important things. You'll see that there is the class as well as the style underneath it. Styles are very helpful for boss battle to know who goes in which section. As you can tell, the purple background with the cobra is the trickster icon, but you can see the little flames. That is the style that is the chaotic style. My apologies. Legends era also here as well. If you're looking for the full art of the character, you can click on this little button here. It'll show you the full art of the character, their little icon up here, the era that they are, and the poster that they have done as well. It'll also indicate whether the character is a trainer or a coach at the top, which we'll go through here in just a moment. Your stats are also on the upgrade page itself, so you can see very similar here. The stats page is the same exact thing as well. So nothing that you're missing out on either page, whichever one you're more comfortable with. that's something that you can look into as well. You'll notice down here that it indicates gem critical chance, move critical chance, gem critical damage, move critical damage. The dodge on characters, which is non-existent outside of Invis Cena and Johnny Knoxville, which are two tricksters. They will have move dodge, and we can go into that in a moment. The amount of moves that you own is based on the amount of rarity that your character is at, and so again, to kind of circle back in regards to this, your character will unlock moves as you level them up in rarity. So I think I have a 2-star on my account. Hold on. Good old Ryback. And Ryback will show you, so we have every character, even at 1 star, owns the first 3 moves that they have. You need to have 3 moves equipped. Ryback is a red, yellow, green character. And so you'll notice that at 2-star he unlocks his red 2 move, at 3-star is yellow 2, at 4-star is green 2, at 5-star is red 3, and at 6-star, which is our current maxed out rarity, is yellow 3. And that is because it goes in order of the first 3 moves that he has here. You'll also notice that the order of the moves is going to be the same order of gem damage. So he's a red character, therefore his red gems do the most damage. However, he's a yellow as his secondary move, so his yellow gems will do the second highest. And then his third color is green, therefore his green will do the third highest, and that will be tied with another gem color that the game has decided to make equal to the strength of the third gem. So in this case, his black gems do the same amount as his green gems, and the other 2 remaining gems that are not part of his 3 move colors or the tied color is going to be the 4th strongest, or in this case the weakest. Those will be tied with each other as well. You'll notice he doesn't have any of these gem critical chances or move critical chances because he is not at the rarity required. I believe that is at 4-star, but let's go back to the top of the roster here. You will notice that each of these characters, so let's actually, instead of going to Rex, let's find a powerhouse, another red character, just so that we can show you what the difference is there. So we all remember Ryback now was red, yellow, green. Cody is red, green, and blue. So Cody's going to have red gems at the highest, green gems at the second, and blue gems are going to be tied for something else as the third. In this case, it just so happens to also be black gems. You'll notice that Cody's yellow gems and purple gems are the lowest. So in this particular case, Cody doesn't have very strong yellow gems. Ryback has him as his second strongest gem. Now, obviously, Ryback is not a great character, which is why he's not leveled up on my account, but just something to keep in mind on the generic side of things. Also to keep in mind, and something I will actually sort by, we can go, instead of the match, we can go to the roster page. So right to the right of the contest button is the roster button, at least again for now in our current game. You can sort roster by male, female, or both. I typically like trying to sort by both. And then there is a plethora of things that you can sort people by here, but the ones that a lot of people try to remember to sort by are talent level, class, and rarity. Sometimes people sort by era. There's plethora of other people that use other things down here to sort by, like for example, name. So some people like doing it by name. So 1, 2, 3 Kid, Adam Cole, Alpha, AJ Styles, AJ Styles, AJ Styles, things like that. I don't really like sorting it by that. My typical go-to is talent, so I can see my strongest characters at the top. Or I will sort by class, which is what we're going to do in this case. And we're going to go back over what we were just discussing, which is the criticals. So the gem critical chance and move critical chance, the gem critical damage and move critical damage. So the base numbers for all characters are 10% chance, 20% damage. That means you have a 10% chance to do critical damage, and the damage that you will do is going to be 20% stronger. So just for basic numbers, if you were going to do 1,000 damage, but you critical, you're now going to do 1,200 damage. Hopefully that makes sense. Some people it doesn't really make sense. Others it kind of clicks immediately. So for example, let's say that I used, just for example, this move, and let's just round it to 100,000 damage. If I criticaled on this move would deal 120,000 damage. The chance of me getting a critical on Sammy particularly is 15%. So every class has one bonus, and there are two classes with what used to be a buff and a debuff. So your strikers get a 5% bump in the move critical chance. So instead of a 10% chance to crit on gems and so on and so forth, and a 10% on move, they have an extra 5%. So their chance is 15% to crit on move damage. And then we can go down to, whenever we get there, powerhouses. So powerhouses, when we go down here, you'll notice they have a 30% critical gem damage amount. So they lost the 5%, because again, we're going back to basics, so 10% chance and 20% damage. Well, the powerhouses have an additional gem damage critical. So if you were going to do 1,000,000 damage on gem damage, now instead of doing 1,000,000, you're doing 1,300,000, because your damage is better. The chance of that happening is only 10%, but your damage will be higher than any other class if you critical on gem damage. So that's for powerhouses. Your tricksters and acrobats will get to last, because those are the ones that have built-in debuffs on them. Your showboats, you'll see the gem critical damage is back down to 20%. So you will lose, quote unquote, that damage compared to a powerhouse. But the chance of you getting the critical for gem damage is just like Striker, it's 15%. Striker is the move critical, Showboat is the gem critical. And last but not least is the Technicians, who I believe will have the move damage critical increase for, yes, we do. We have it for the move damage. So 10% for the gem chance, 10% for the move chance, 20% for the gem critical, but 30% for the move critical. So again, same chance is only 10% chance that it will get a crit, but you'll notice that we have an additional 10% compared to every other class in the game. Now, we skipped over acrobats and tricksters as well, so I'm going to get to the breakaway point of those guys. So, you'll notice that these guys have the base of 20% here for the damage, but they actually only have 5% critical chance instead of the standard 10. This is because these characters also had built-in dodge on them as well. So acrobats used to have a 3% dodge rate. They no longer have dodge. And tricksters used to have a 3% move dodge rate. So I can actually click into one of these guys at 4 stars, should work also. You'll notice it's the same, 5%, 5%, 20%, 20%, and then 0 on the gem and 0 on the move. So I'm thankful enough to have, where is he? Inviscina. He's one of the 2 characters that still has built-in dodge. You'll notice he has the 10% move dodge chance here. So it used to be 3% for every trickster on the move and 3% for every acro on the gem. And that is why their critical chance is at 5%. It is lowered. So all of this is to just kind of give you a very standard understanding of how there's different classes, different bonuses, different, debuffs, so to speak. Just something to keep your mind out on. And something else also while we're talking about classes, you'll notice that it'll mention, so remember, if you remember the look before that we had on our Trickster when we looked at Ali, we had Trickster with the Cobra and it was purple, but it was the flames. You'll notice this one says focused. That's because these are the 3 lines. So that's the style, it's a focused style Trickster. And again, styles come in handy for boss battle because there are different sections in boss battle that you can fill your characters in with. So we'll take a very tiny little detour there because we have boss battle up. The current boss battle is against Zombie CM Punk, Here's your buffs, here's your debuffs, or the boss abilities, I should say. But the point of this is to show you the lineup card. So you'll notice we have the squiggly lines here. We have the two little lightning bolts here. We have the shield here. And we have the flame here. So this is your focused, this is your chaotic, this is your aggressive, and this is your defensive. You'll notice that they are all different colors. Regal is a showboat, Ray is a powerhouse, Jacob is an acrobat, and of course my Ali up here was a trickster. So those are very, very basic, standard things to keep in mind when it comes to the game. Again, nothing really too mind-blowing, but something else to keep in mind is the health bar and the gem damage per character will vary based on their class. So, for example, strikers have the lowest amount of health compared to every other class, but they also have the strongest gem damage in the game for their main gem. So circling back to what we were talking about at the beginning of how a red character has the red gem as their strongest, a black striker character has the black gem striker gem damage as their strongest. The striker character also has the strongest gem damage in the game. But in order to get that, unfortunately, they also have the weakest health pool. So something to keep in mind with your strikers. We're going to keep going down. Powerhouses have the second highest gem damage, I believe, in the game. That's not a gold powerhouse. Let's go find a gold. Let's just take a peek. So Ray has his full stars, his full levels. He's almost at 70k. You can notice, though, the health pool significantly higher for Rey Mysterio than it was for Sami Zayn. And we can continue to go down. So Trickster, you'll notice, has even less gem damage and a little bit less on the health pool. But their rest of their gems are a little bit more evened out. Acrobats have a little bit stronger gem damage, a little bit stronger health, but the majority of their other gems aren't as strong as the Tricksters. Showboats have the most health in the game, but the weakest gem damage for their strongest gem. So you could see a significant difference from Sammy to Triple H. It's about a 15,000 gem damage difference per gem on the base values of the gems. But the health pool is significantly larger. It's almost 5-ish million more than what Sammy is at. And last but certainly not least, the technicians. We have Ilya Dragunov. Ilya has 61 million health, so much stronger health than the majority of the other characters in the game other than Showboats. Very solid gem damage. And very similar to the Tricksters, you'll notice across the board, his gem damage seems to be a little bit higher on average. So that is a very, standard thing in regards to our game with, the basics, so to speak. One final thing, we can go back to Ilya. One final thing to talk about. So again, where I mentioned earlier in this video, there's a difference between trainers and coaches. So every character has their moves. Again, they all unlock at the current moment at 6-star gold. You can click on the poster here, and you can click on moves, and you can scroll through all of them to see which one unlocks where. So we could tell his Torpedo Moscow is the 6-star move. So everyone has all of their 8 moves unlocked at 6-star as of this moment. However, there's also what we call the entourage. You'll notice there's a line to separate here in the middle between the left 2 and the right 2. You'll also see the little icons down here, the little whistles versus the little bottles. The whistles are trainers. It says entourage list. These will be trainers that you can put onto your characters. Both of these are trainer slots up here. And then you have your coach slots. So you'll notice the faces change down here because these are coaches instead of trainers. Typically, and this doesn't go for every single character in the game, but typically trainers have more impactful entourage abilities than coaches do. It doesn't mean that coaches are useless by any stretch of the imagination. Coaches are also very significantly strong for certain characters, especially as the time in our game has continued onward. you'll notice that there's a lot of coaches out there which help significantly. And last but not least, we have this section, which is the promoter. You'll see that it has a little megaphone sign on it. The promoter is also something that you can, so I'm going to sort by talent just so that we're all on the same page. I'm going to sort, instead of by every available character, we're just going to swap on over to promoters only. Promoters are actually to boost your scores in the game modes listed. So faction feud, which happens every couple of weeks, showdown, which happens very often, numerous times throughout the month, stipulation tours, which is actually happening right now for the zombie event every single day, the boss shop currency, which we just went over, the styles for the boss shop. You can equip these promoters to the characters that you're running bosses with, and you can pick up numerous additional currency. Showdown coins instead of showdown notoriety, so there's actually 2 sets of showdown promoters. And you can click on any of these, whether you own them or not. You can move to their promoter tab. It will not say trainer or coach. You'll notice it's a little megaphone, and it'll show you what the talent required for the character to hit will be. Same thing with trainers and coaches. On this tab, it'll show you what you have to hit talent-wise in order to get to the max trainer, coach, or promoter ability. Promoters are specifically only for one class. So in this case, Undertaker is for Powerhouse only. Means I can only use them on my red characters. But when I do, I will earn 50% more war score from faction feud battles. So that is the war score bonus for feud. Daniel Bryan, Icons of WrestleMania promoter. He is the striker, for example, for Showdown. And you'll notice I earn 250% more notoriety from Showdown battles. So he is a Showdown promoter, not a feud promoter. Stipulation tour, we have Icons of WrestleMania Batista. Again, 21,000 Acrobat only, earn 150% more stipulation score from stipulation battles. And we're going to continue onward. Boss shop currency, Sasha Banks, Icons of WrestleMania. She is the trickster only. Earn 30% more boss shop currency from battles, again at 21K. And last but certainly not least, we have the Showdown coins instead of the Showdown notoriety. Beth Phoenix, you'll also notice these are at 26K, not 21K. She is the Showboat only, earn 50% more Showdown coins from battles. So all of these exist for all of the classes. So for me, I've tried very hard to get all of the promoters possible. The Showdown coin ones are limited behind the King of Kings subscription wall. The rest of these you should be able to earn through playing your game. The faction feud promoters come through the stip tours. The showdown promoters come through the faction store that you get your swag coins for. The stipulation tour promoters come through the showdown shop. The boss shop currency promoters come through the boss shop. So those are the places that you can get all these promoters. You'll notice I don't have JBL. We also got Foley to replace Mr. Macho Man here when we lost access to him in the game, when they lost the license to him, but they got the license back. But he was just simply a replacement promoter, so you'll see he's the same thing as Macho Man. There is no benefit to having multiple stipulation score, promoters because you only play stips with one character. That is simply, a Pokemon chase thing for myself. But if you were not playing the game when Macho was around, then you don't have to fret about not having Macho. It is the same exact thing. Powerhouse only stipulation scores, same exact talent, same exact character, just Foley instead of Macho. So, that was a mouthful. That was a lot. There's a lot more to go over. But I'm not going to make an hour-long video right now. I'd like to make this a series. I think that I'm going to be going over titles in another one, especially with the new filter. I would like to go over moments at some point in time for a lot of you out there that are still confused on moments. I would also like to explain the logic. I've been asked numerous times about why you would put one bonus of a title on somebody over another bonus. What it is that you're looking for in the certain bonuses for characters, whether it's the title, the skill plate, the medals, the trainers, the coaches, the moments, the gears, the everything. There's a plethora of strategy that goes into this game. It is a lot more in-depth than simply, pick the character, smash the gems, move forward. And I think that a lot of that kind of gets missed in regards to, when you're going through the earlier tours, kind of like what we did with the NXT tour. Just because you're a newer player and you get through the NXT tour or the Women's Evolution tour or the Live tour, whatever it may be, and you hit a point where you're like, I really don't understand what I'm doing. Because early on, when you're fighting, a 300 talent Xavier Woods with, your probably 1-star bronze John Cena, and you only have to go through a couple hundred health, when the game scales to, 8-9 figures worth of health, and you can see just on a surface level, right? Like, the amount of damage that you're looking at is significantly different. You're talking about this guy's strongest gem is 32. My weakest gem is 40,000. So like there's a glaring disparity with where the game starts and where it is currently at. And I'm hopeful that I can sort of help bridge that gap for a lot of the players that are unaware of how to kind of get there with a comfort and an understanding of the game. And I'm very, very hopeful that this series, and not just this video, will help kind of transition for a lot of players as well. I'm hopeful that people can look back at this series and link their friends to it if they want to start playing the game, or if, they just started playing the game already and they're kind of lost, to kind of go, to this series of the Back to Basics series and kind of understand what it is that they should be doing, what it is that they need to be doing, what it is that they can do to make their gameplay experience that much more enjoyable. But enough of me rambling on, because that's what's happening here. I appreciate you all. Hopefully you make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave some commentary below is probably the most important thing at this point, especially in regards to this series. Let me know what it is that you would like to see me do a second episode of Back to Basics on. Do you think I missed something so far on the surface? Do you think that I should spruce up, some of the things that I'm breaking down? Do you think that I should add some gameplay in instead of just going over things on the surface? I'd really like to hear your commentary and your feedback, especially on this series. This is probably going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, in the next couple of weeks, if not months, something that I'm going to be trying to dedicate a lot of time to doing. And I would really like to make sure that this is something a grand portion of the player base can keep referencing back to. So that's the goal. And if you guys can help me out with that in the comments below, I believe in the thought process of more than just one person. I appreciate each and every last one of you that does leave comments, and I do read them, and I do try to respond to just about every single one of them. And I would like to move forward as a group for this game to try and make this game a better place. So yeah, if you don't mind, do all that wonderful stuff. Like it, share it, subscribe, and most of all, leave some commentary behind. I appreciate you all tremendously so, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you all very, very soon back in the lounge. Have a good one, everybody.